Hello. This is the first of a series of demonstration videos that we're publishing that show how to use Tableau, which is a business intelligence tool that we're very kind of keen on to visualize and analyze SnowPlow data. So just to give you a kind of overview of how Tableau works to those of you who might not have used it before. Tableau makes it very easy to create reports by combining measures or metrics, which are listed down here in the bottom left of the screen, with dimensions that are listed up here in the top left of the screen. So if we look at the measures at the bottom to start off with, hopefully you can see there a bunch of things that you'd expect in any kind of web analytics program. We've got measures like uniques, visits and page views, and we can create reports using these metrics simply by taking the metrics, in this case I'm selecting uniques, and dragging it to the central pane in our analysis window. So I've taken uniques, and you can see for our sample data set it's quite a small data set. We've got 2031 uniques in that data set. I'm also going to take visits by selecting and dragging that to the center, and you can see we've got slightly more visits, as you'd expect on average, more than one visit per unique on our website, but not quite as much as two. We've also got a bunch of measures down here that are sort of specific to online retailers. And one thing that I should probably stress at this point in the video is that the type of data cube that you create in Tableau to query data in SnowPlow is going to be specific to you depending on the type of company you are and the type of industry you're in. So type of measures that we'd have down here and dimensions that I'll come to up in the top left of the screen are going to be different if you're an online retailer, to if you're a social network, to if you're a media site. And working out what those should be is part of the kind of cube design process. Hopefully though, the example here should make sense to anybody in the retail sector, and at least give companies in other sectors enough food for thought so they can start to imagine how a similar solution could work in your sector. So having looked at the measures down here on the left, let's have a look at the dimensions up here on the top left. These are things that we use to slice and dice our data by. We've got a set of dimensions that relate to who our user is, and those dimensions are things like user ID down here. We can, with SnowPlow, analyze right down to a particular user's patterns of engagement on your website. We've got the visit ID and the customer cohort that user belongs to. We've also got a set of marketing related fields here that are labeled market first visit. These are the marketing fields that you're used to from Google Analytics, you know, source, medium, campaign, referrer, ad content, term for keywords, but that all relate to the first visit that a user has made to your site. And they differ to the 5 marketing fields down here. Is it 5? Well, I think it's actually 6. The 6 marketing fields down here that relate to the session. Obviously, every different session or visit that a user makes to your website, it might have been a different marketing channel that drove them there. And splitting out those different marketing channels is crucial if you're doing any kind of attribution analysis, for example. So we've got a set of dimensions over here that relate to a user, but also a set that relate to a particular session or visit, including these marketing fields over here, the visit ID over here, and the stage in the funnel that the user gets to over here. And by stage in the funnel, what we mean is, did this user add something to their basket? Did they progress to the checkout? Did they actually go through and make a purchase? Again, what that funnel is will depend on what industry you're in, and you can imagine defining multiple funnels and analyzing against multiple funnels in Tableau. And finally, we've got a set of fields that relate to specific events on a user's journey that might not be tied to a particular session or user. So we've got product name and product SKU. So remember, this is an online retailer data set that we're looking at, and if users visited a page on a particular product, we might want to compare visits by product, and I'll be showing you how to do that in a bit with these fields. And we've also got order ID and page URL to capture order events and page view events. So if you remember, I'd previously dragged two metrics to the center of the screen, uniques and visits, and I can now slice that data by different dimensions over here. So just to get us started, I'm going to do something simple and look at how the number of uniques and the number of visits changes over time. To do that, I've dragged the date dimension to the top. So far, it's not telling me anything interesting. It's only telling me that all the data is from the year 2012. But if I want to drill into that, I can select the date and say that I want to report this by week. And then Tableau lets me graph it in a number of ways, and I'm simply going to do a line graph just to start off with. And so here, very quickly, what I've done is create a graph that compares the number of uniques and the number of visits over our sample data set period, which is May to September. And you can see that we've got a little bit of a data gap in the middle of the sample data set, but hopefully that shouldn't interfere with the demo too much. We can easily drag and drop additional dimensions onto the graph. Say I want to look at the amount of revenue that we've made, and I want to plot that against the number of uniques who visited the site in any given week. I can just drag that over to this axis over here and drop it, and suddenly that metric's been added to the analysis. And so I can now compare on one graph the amount of revenue made against the number of unique visitors that visited the site in that week.